So God from the Machine, literal translation of the old Deus Ex Machina.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Well, that was a song that was pretty much a pep talk to myself, and I guess in writing, when the author inserts his or herself into the story, it's Deus Ex Machina. And I got the idea from a Kurt Vonnegut book, actually, where I think it was Breakfast of Champions, and the character's sitting in a bar and he feels this man staring at him, and it's Kurt Vonnegut, and he's like, "You're afraid you're going to end up like your mother," or something like that. And I was just like, I wrote this song, and when I write, I just sing whatever, scratch lyrics, and then I go back and I write the real lyrics. And the first thing out of my mouth was like, "You can make it alone if you try." And I tried for 3 months to change the lyric, and I was like, nothing else was right. And I was like, that's because this is exactly what I need to hear right now. I was just really struggling. Sometimes when you're in the middle of your project and you feel like nobody else understands your vision, nobody's giving you the help that you need. And it's really, everything's DIY nowadays. You have to do everything yourself. And sometimes you got to make something out of nothing. And it's just like, I needed a pep talk, and I wrote myself one.
And it took you a couple of months to realize it, I guess.
Yeah, it did. There's
The song is called God from the Machine from the new Santigold record. Santi, you were saying, how you have to do everything yourself. There's a bunch of really great producers helping you out on this record. Diplo and Switch and Dave Satek from TV on the Radio, Nick Zimmer from the Yeah. So it seems like there was...
Yeah, I didn't do all of it by myself.
Yeah.
No, they were all so wonderful. I worked with a lot of different producers on my record, and each of them are seriously, I think, some of the most amazing producers out there, and a pleasure to work with for the most part. But
says the executive producer.
Yeah, try chasing down files and then you change that statement completely. But yeah, the way that I make my music is kind of a collage process. I work with sometimes up to 3 producers on a track, and nowadays. But
I just want to point out, you are careful to share writing credit with all those people too.
Of course, which is it's actually difficult too, because I'm the only. See, I call myself the glue. I only work with each producer. I didn't work with anybody for more than a month, yet I worked on my record for 1.5 years. So it's up to me to then take everything and put it together and sort out everything and, get everything into the same program. Because nowadays everyone, I work on Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, And but then at the end of the day, I'm arguing on everybody's behalf, because with all the different producers, it's like they're like, "Well, I did this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but he did this too," and you know what I mean. So it's kind of a challenge.
Yeah, and to sort of let that initial voice, that voice that's giving you the pep talk in God from the Machine, for example, or in a song like "The Riot's Gone," you can strip away all the production, and it seems like whatever the beating heart of that song initially was is still there on this track.
Yeah, that's actually a track that was different from any track I've ever written before, and it's probably because it was right when I got to Jamaica, and it was the first moment really on working on this record where I got to just step outside of all the things going on outside and just go someplace quiet and focus on the noise inside of my head.
Jamaica's quiet?
Actually, Port Antonio at GJAM is the most quiet place ever. It's not one of those places, I went to Jamaica to experience the culture, and it's like I went to get away. It's like 5 minutes from the Blue Lagoon. It's facing the ocean. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's got this wonderful little studio there. And I discovered it a couple trips back, and I was like, this is where I need to record. But I sat at the piano. I don't even barely play piano, but I play enough to write a couple chords, and I just sang the song and literally had my laptop recording on the top. And so I wrote the song to piano, which is and it's kind of a ballad for me, So it's a special song in that way. And then I took these drums that Switch and I had worked on for something and put it right over and it fit perfectly. And I was like, this is weird. And I walked in the studio. I was like, you want to hear it? Kind of embarrassed. You want to hear what I just did? And Switch was like, oh my God.
So it sounds like it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was good.
You mentioned the way you normally work, Santi, is sort of a collage. You have in your background a lot of work sort of within the industry writing pop songs for other people like Ashley Simpson and Christina Aguilera and stuff. Is that how you wrote for them as well?
Oh, no. It's a completely different process. And honestly, I like putting myself in positions to write for other people like that. I don't do it very often, but when I do, it's a challenge for me, especially nowadays as mainstream pop becomes more and more narrow and formulaic. It's actually not as much fun now, but it does force you to write within a certain rigid structure that is pop music, which I enjoy, because for me, when I bring it back to my own music, I lay down the structure and then I just do everything I can to like push against the structure while keeping the structure. And I think it makes for some really exciting music, but that stays in the pop realm.
During this 4-year period, you signed with Jay-Z's Rock Nation
For management.
For management. What does that, does that sort of boost you into the next layer of fame? You see where I'm going with this. It's the song Fame, which is all.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yes, Santi. You have a song called Fame on your new record.
You're right, yes.
Which seems to be, as you get closer to that kind of world, how ambivalent are your feelings about it?
Well, I think celebrity right now is just the worst it's ever been. You can be a celebrity for having 8 children at the same time. You can be a celebrity for a sex tape. It's just like the most empty thing right now. And I'm not like, that's definitely not the drive. That's not what I'm aiming for. But at the same time, I would love for my music to be famous. I would love for the most people to know my music and to be inspired by my music. And so I realized that, they kind of come hand in hand. Especially now with the internet and the scrutiny and it's just kind of ridiculous.
That is Santigold, my guest on Soundcheck. Fame is the name of the song from her new album, which is called Master of My Make-Believe. Hustle make you high, hustle get you low. I don't want. Maybe just a little, though. So,
Yeah, it's definitely ambivalent.